Have you ever beaten a Super Mario game? Well, I haven't. So I'm on a mission to finish them all. 'Cause why not? Welcome to the Pipe Jump Chronicles.
Hola! Once again. Hello. We are now in Stove Canyon, baby. I remember as a kid loving this world. Like, this was one of my favorite worlds. I don't know why. And while I was off screen, not only did I lose a couple lives, I also, went back to Rice Beach to get the propeller hat, and you'll know why in about 2 seconds. The first level of Stove Canyon is... Well, just look at this. Huh, everything's good. Oh, look at that. Behind me is instant death. Yes, that weird wall is instant death. Instant death. So this whole time you gotta go. You gotta go. You gotta hope and pray. And that was stupid. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. My gosh, I'm going to die. Oh yeah, also, no pressure, but there is a key. Oh my gosh, this freaking level. This level, like, you thought the other one was stressful. This one, like, will give you nightmares, cause... Okay, I gotta run, 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 gotta run, 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 run. This is the worst part. This stupid ladder. And also, I'm Little Wario, that doesn't help. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna focus real fast just to get through this level. The rest of the world is not this stressful. Hold on. And the fact that, like, they give you a key, like, hey, by the way, while you're running away from all this dark void. Actually, I'm pretty far ahead. Hold on. How far ahead? Oh, there it is. Okay, hold on. And, whew, okay, exhale. We're safe. It can't get through there. So, we go up here. Please be a thingy. Oh, thank goodness. I was about to be like, oh, I just realized I'm Little Wario. I got a treasure. I do love how at the beginning of this, I said I'm not going to go out of my way to get all the treasures, and yet here I am, I've now gotten 6 out of 15 of them. Like, that is just sad. I missed a treasure. I'm trying to think where that would have been. Oh, I know where it is, but we're not going back to get it. We are not going back to get it. I'm not doing that. Anyway, welcome to episode... Oh, right? This guy? These guys are weird because sometimes when they spawn, their little spiky balls aren't with them, so they're just walking around. It is the weirdest thing. Boop. So, yeah, we are in Stove Canyon. These next couple levels, they're not stressful whatsoever, so again, I don't know why I was like that as a kid, but it is now a new day, in case it was not obvious. I decided, in order to avoid my meandering on, like I've been doing for the last several episodes of this particular playthrough, because I don't have anything to live react to, I have got with me a cheat sheet of stuff to talk about while we play. So, the first thing I want to discuss is this book that, at the time of me recording, oh, I love the music, it's so good. A book that, at the time of me recording this, has taken the internet by storm. It is called All Tomorrows. It is by... I forget his name. It's by some guy named Nemo something or other, but that's not his real name. It is a science fiction cosmic horror story. Oh, by the way, these little things, they go up and down. They were also pink in the Game Boy Advance version. Die, little demon boy. But this book, All Tomorrows... Oh, one up. Nice. I needed that. It is a cosmic horror story about what could be a possible... Oh, wait, hold on. Watch this. Hold on. So, okay, watch this. I always thought this was cool. Okay, never mind. There's a way so that if I'm holding an enemy while I start activating the hat, it ends up, like, falling into... Anyway. It is about a possible future of the human race where, in the future, we end up colonizing... Well, we end up terraforming the planet Mars, and then we have an entire colony of humans that go live on Mars for several centuries, and they end up evolving to become a bit taller and skinnier than Earth humans, and they end up, like, pretty much becoming, like, these rebellious teenagers of humans, and just going all like, oh, you can't tell me what to do, Dad, and so we end up going to war with the Martians. And I love how I'm saying we, like, oh yeah, I would definitely be alive for all this, and of course I'd be on Earth's side. But we end up going to war with the Martian humans, and then it ends up lasting a long time, and like billions of people die in this like war. And so we decide that it's probably for the best if we all just get along. And so we end up becoming this new species called the Star People. And it's like this species of human that's like genetically genetically bred to be a perfect combination of the Martians and the Earthlings. So that, gotta do this, so that we all get along. And then once the Star People are born, they end up forming their own galactic federation where they go around the galaxy and colonize various planets. And so everything is fine and dandy for a little while, but then what ends up happening is that this other species called the Q, they are an alien race of these giant bug monsters. They end up discovering the Star People, the humans, and they just decide, I'm gonna play Spore. So we end up the Star People end up going to war with the Q, and they lose tremendously on all these different planets that the Star People have colonized. And so the Q ends up, as punishment for losing the war, they pretty much just take all the different species of Star People, of all these humans, and just genetically mutate them and modify them into these just nightmare creatures. And so for like millions of years, the remnants of humanity... Oh, dude, you're dead. Why'd your stupid little boomerang sword still make a noise? So for just millions of years, the Q is, like, more or less controlling what's left of the human population. And, like, you'll have to look up the images for some of this stuff. And it's Q spelled... Again, you're dead. Your music should not be playing. The Q, it's just spelled Q-U. It's the Q. They end up just pretty much just being, like, mad scientists, just like, oh, what would happen if we did this with a human body? What would happen if we did this with a human body? And so, like... There's all these different creatures that the humans get turned into, and each one is just worse than the last. There's ones called the worms, where the humans just get turned into, like, these worms, that are, like, about an arm's length, and they are just sent to burrow around in the ground forever. There's one where, like, the humans on the planet are, like, split half and half between, like, a predator species and a prey species. And so that's messed up, because those were, like, at one point, probably, like, family, and now, like, half of them are hunting the other half. And they lose, most of these species lose their intelligence, too. Like, they just become these, like, really? They just become these, like, awful, nightmarish little creatures. There's one where they pretty much get turned into dolphins. There is one, and they all have names, like, pseudoscientific ones. I just can't remember them. There's one where they pretty much just de-evolved them to go back into being monkeys, but then they also are left on their planet to, like, herd, like, the lizards that are all around the place. There's one where, like, they, are forced to live on a planet that's got, like, something times Earth's gravity. It's, like, super intense, so they end up just becoming, like, the human equivalent of a blobfish, or, like, a flounder that, like... Or Sunfist, whatever that Pokemon is, the one that's super duper flat. Like, and I should also mention that, like, these creatures are all, like, illustrated by the guy who wrote the book, I think. And they are the most grotesque and scary things I've ever seen. There's a species that, like, ends up super duper tall and lanky, because they end up on a planet with, like, 1/5 of Earth's gravity, and they end up becoming super tall and super fragile. And there's another species where I can't even describe it. It's like the females end up becoming these weird, like statue anthill things in the ground that just screech all day, and the males become these tiny little simp creatures that just scour the earth and, like, try their best to, like, mate with the females. It's the weirdest thing. There is a species... Well, I'm not even getting into the worst ones yet. There's a species where, like, they look like Squidward, but they're like cavemen, and they haunt the ruins of what used to be the Star People civilization. There is a group that is... Oh, sorry, I'll just fast forward through this. There's a group that is, like, they're called the hedonists, which crack me up. They're like these weird little, like, reptile bird things with this awesome looking hair, and like their whole job is to just mate, like just run around the world and mate. There's these people who can fly. They're like pterodactyl humans. And again, most of these creatures don't have any human sentience. Like, literally, these guys just devolved humans at their whim. Oh, wait, pause. This was one of my favorite levels as a kid, because you get to skateboard. The whole level is this. It's so stupid, I love it. Boy, good thing Propeller Hat Wario can jump. Anyway, two of the probably saddest creatures that end up happening because of the Q messing up the human population. One is called, they're called the Colonials. They are a descendant of a race, well, they're descendant of, a group that actually, like, fought against the Q, humans that fought against the Q, and they fought them off 2 times, and then the 3rd time, they unfortunately were just maliciously defeated by the Q, and as punishment, they turned every single person on that planet into, like, a tiny little flesh carpet. Like a little square made of flesh, usually with 1 eye, maybe 1 hole, like 1 orifice. And they're all completely sentient. They are perfectly aware of what's going on, but they cannot talk, they cannot, like, do anything. They are just a flesh carpet for all eternity, and it is their job to get rid of the waste for the Q. And it is, oh man, I died. It is the most horrific thing. And the picture shows them all kind of stacked, like, in a thing on the wall, and it's flesh carpet. Like, literally, it's just like, it's like you lost this galactic war against these bug people, and as punishment, they turned you and everybody you know and love into a floor. And you are perfectly aware of what's going on, you are suffering, and you can't do anything about it. I'm trying to think. Oh, another one that was really sad was the mantelopes. So they were like these really long-necked, quadrupedal creatures that the Q created, and they also were allowed to keep their human intelligence because they needed somebody to be the record keepers of, like, what had happened here. And so the mantelopes constantly were like these emo little antelope creatures because they were perfectly aware of everything that had happened to their species, and they couldn't do anything about it. All they could do was suffer. And I think the other ones I can remember off the top of my head, there's I'm missing a couple, but like there's also there's ones that are like these guys with these really long nails, and they just fish all day, and later on they end up evolving to have arms that are like freaking sailboats. There's these creatures that they're like humans, but they're long and skinny, and they got these weird pointy faces, and and they got these really long tongues, and they just eat grubs all day. That's their thing. And I should also specify that these are all happening on separate planets. Like, all these creatures, they're not like, it's not like, oh, this guy got turned into like a mantelope, and this guy got turned into like a carpet guy. Like, no. These were all on separate planets, so they couldn't even work together to figure out what the heck was going on. But yeah, so that ends up happening, and then the book fast forwards several million years where the Q have more or less like left, and suddenly some of the creatures actually ended up dying out through I almost forgot to mention there was one where it was pretty much like if humans were elephants, but our trunks were our lower lip and our face looked like it had been skin grafted on. It's horrifying. Anyway, so some of the creatures like the elephants and the ones I talked about were like the females were like random holes in the ground, and the mantelopes. Oh, I forgot to mention the freaking rat people. There were also the rat people who, when I need to focus. There was the rat people who, when the Q first showed up, they were aware that they were attacking other planets, so they burrowed underground on their planet to see if they could escape, and the Q found them, and as punishment, they're like, oh, you like to live underground? Well, fine, now you're rat people. You don't have eyes anymore. You get to live underground forever. And so they went blind, and they were one of the creatures that went extinct because since their society was built underground, a bunch of earthquakes and tectonic shifts happened over time, and they all just died. The mantelopes all died because they couldn't stand being intelligent, and they decided that they were going to evolve a lack of intelligence in order to just be happier, because, you know, ignorance is bliss, and I think it ended up, like, killing them or whatever. The freaking one where the lady has a plant in the ground, they freaking got killed by a meteor. I think the elephant people got killed by an ice age. But I think everybody else ended up evolving. Oh, I forgot to mention. There was one group of space, whatever, the star people. The humans who were half Earthling, half Martian. Oh, please let me fall on that. Oh, thank you. Half human, half Martian. Earthling Martians. One group of them ended up escaping the queue because they hid not on a planet, but inside a hollowed out asteroid. And so they ended up surviving away from any sort of influence. Oh, come on. I hit something on the ceiling. That is bull. They ended up escaping any sort of outside influence from the queue, and so they, for millions and millions of years, just lived out in space, and this is the stupidest thing ever, but they ended up evolving, like, the way they got around, the way that they were able to propel themselves through the lack of gravity was by farting. Like, this book is so freaking horrifying, and then sometimes it's just so stupid. So, like, the future of the human race that has been untouched by any sort of outside enemy influence are the people who are floating around farting in an asteroid, and they look like scarecrows, low-key. Like scarecrows with really long, Slenderman-y limbs. Anyway, it's a good thing I have unlimited lives, huh? Because I keep dying on this level, even though I keep saying it's fun. Because I'm getting so distracted, So anyway, like I said, millions of years go by, and those species I talked about, some of them died, but the ones who didn't die, the queue just up and left one day and never came back, because I guess they got bored of torturing the humans, and so all these other species ended up evolving, and so, like, take your pick. All the creatures I mentioned earlier that I also mentioned didn't die. They ended up becoming these different things, like the flesh carpet people ended up evolving. They ended up evolving to be these weird, like, Mr. Potato Head creatures where every single person just became one organ, and then they kind of just lived together and stacked on top of each other and, like, would trade, like, organs. It was really weird. The monkeys who ended up hurting lizards, they actually ended up devolving, and then the lizards that they were hurting ended up evolving, and then they ended up becoming the herders, so it was kind of a nice role reversal there. Hold on, I gotta get this guy to spawn and come towards me. There we go. So I can just go past him. So that was kind of a cool role reversal. The people who could fly, they ended up evolving, but they ended up evolving really short lifespans, so like live fast, die young. I said the people who were super tall and lanky because they had low gravity, they actually got killed because chicken and other poultry on their planet evolved really fast and ended up killing them all. Like, you know, normal stuff like that. Oh, man! Good. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna go back and get the propeller hat because it's just easier with the propeller hat. So give me a sec. While I keep talking about this, the people who were like the blobfish, who were like super duper flat on the ground, they ended up evolving by creating a new species of themselves that could sustain the gravity and get off the planet, and then they ended up killing their original selves. I don't know, man. The heathens, who were the ones who, like, all they did was just, like, live in paradise and mate all day, they ended up becoming, like, punk rock stars that looked like velociraptors. They're undoubtedly one of the coolest creatures in the whole book. I'm trying to think who some of the other creatures even are. The dolphin people evolved, and, like, because they were underwater, they couldn't evolve to, create fire or electricity. So what they ended up doing is that they ended up breeding other animals in their ecosystem to become their tools, all of the Flintstones. It's so weird, man. It's so weird. The worms, the first creatures I mentioned, they ended up evolving into giant snake people who just kind of slither around and listen to cool jazz music. And they're like literally a giant snake, but then like where their tail would be is like this weird hand foot. I don't know, man. And then the hunter-gatherer, like the hunters and the prey animals, all the prey got killed, obviously, because the hunters were really good. And then the hunters evolved to be all like, hey, let's not hunt as much. And then they ended up evolving, like, into, like, these really cool, like, creatures that kind of just look like a dude that you'd see at, like, a coffee bar, who, like, he's got a cool hat, he probably smokes, like, Cuban cigars or something, like, really cool dude. See, there's something up there, and I tripped on it last time. Look how faster this is with the propeller hat, kids. So I think right here, no, it's not here, not yet. So that final, I bet those of you at home who've been watching this have probably been like the whole time, why hasn't Paperclip done the halfway mark thing? And it's because I don't want to, okay? It's because I don't want to. I'm like Chris Christie in that one friggin' Vine. Because I don't want to. No, permission denied, next you have been stopped. Okay. No, not this one. Not this one. No, it is this one, okay. No, it's not this one. It's not this one. Okay, it's the next one. Okay. It's this one right here. So, this level actually has a secret ending. But the only way to access it is if I go down and then up. So we're gonna do the secret level first. So, down. Ah! No! It was right there! Okay, I get to do all that again. Hooray! Because I don't want to. No. Permission denied, next you haven't stopped. Anyway, also, the, oh, too far. The asteroid people who've been farting around, they evolved even more to be, like, super duper duper intelligent. So now they're not only, like, you know, super, like, above it all, literally, because they're floating around in space, they also, are super intelligente. Muy. And again, at this point, all these creatures that evolved, they ended up regaining their human intelligence and kind of rediscovering what had happened to them. And so they ended up all coming together in this, like, allegiance, like this intergalactic alliance with each other, being like, hey, we used to all have a common ancestor millions of years ago, so that's kind of neat. And they never, like, meet each other in the book, like, they never have scenes where the new species are interacting on other planets, but, like, it's said they all still kind of have an alliance together, except for two of the evolved species. One is the guys I mentioned who, like, they got the long tongues and they, like, got the long faces and they eat grubs all day. They ended up evolving into these incredibly xenophobic creatures who also regained intelligence. I think they're called the bug faces or something, and they're really messed up looking, even by the other creature standards. And they end up just becoming super, like, racist, like, we're better than you guys, so we don't want to be a part of your, like, woohoo club. Like, your club of, like, oh yeah, we all have a similar ancestor, whatever, I don't care. So they don't join the club, and then the other group, they're called the Gravitols, and do you remember when I said that there's, like, oh, that was so stupid. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna get the propeller hat, and then I'm going to focus on finishing that level. The other species I mentioned that was like Squidward, but a caveman that was haunting the ruins, they ended up rediscovering some of the old Star People technology and ended up not having the knowledge to be like, hey, maybe we shouldn't use this extremely advanced technology because it's, like, beyond our intelligence level to know how to use it properly, and they were just like, nope, psych. So they put, like, this very low intelligent creature into, like, these hyper advanced technological things, and they end up becoming, like, assimilated with the technology, like they just abandon their flesh bodies and they become these giant bowling balls, these giant flying bowling balls. And so the Gravitols not only think they're better than everybody else, just like the Bugfacers do, but the Gravitols take it one step further. They end up going to all these other planets where the former humans are, where all these other creatures I'm telling you about, like the snake people, and like the Cuban cigar hunter guy, and like the punk rock heathens or whatever, and they end up killing them. Like, they end up going planet by planet and destroying all these people who used to be like, you know, millions and millions of years ago, their brethren. And so the only ones who survive their extinction are the Bugfacers, because they're like, hey, we noticed that you also are incredibly, like, xenophobic and fascist just like us, so we're not gonna kill you, but we're also not gonna just let you go. We're going to become our own version of the Q, and we're going to enslave you, and we're going to genetically modify you into, like, horses. And so it's like, haha, the racists got their comeuppance, but, like, it's still freaking horrifying. It's like, at that point, I would have rather have chosen extinction. But So the people, the again, I don't know all their names, but like, the farting asteroid people are seeing all this go down, and they're highly evolved intelligently at this point. And so they decide to go find some other aliens out in the universe who also got infected by the Q and then escaped, and were like, hey, we hate the Q, I hate the Q, let's work together. And so they helped with them, and all those people came and teamed up and defeated the Gravitols, the bowling ball people. And so the book ends with the asteroid fart people, the highly evolved asteroid fart people being like, hey, humanity has already been destroyed by this, like, fascism and this, like, this weird stuff with, like, the gene splicing and the mass extinction. That's already happened twice. Let's not let it happen thrice. So, we are going to create non-floating around farting asteroid versions of ourselves called, I believe they're called the Terrestrials, where they're like these weird spider things that are gonna, like, watch over the evolution of what's left of the bug people, because they're the only other creatures left after all this, I believe. And they're just like, we're gonna let them evolve, and we're not gonna tell them what to do, and we're gonna make sure that they don't become fascists. We might accidentally create some cults where they end up worshipping us, but whatever. And so that's where the book ends. The book ends with the author of all this, and he is like this alien creature that had no tie to ancient humanity, but it's like him holding like a human skull, like an earthling human skull, and being like, so that's the 1 billion year history of humanity. And he talks about how even though humans as a species don't exist anymore, oh my gosh. He talks about even though humans as a species don't exist anymore, the essence of humanity still exists. How, like, even though all those different creatures, like, changed so much over time, whether through evolution or forced splicing of DNA, they still kept parts of their humanity. Like I said, the freaking the hunter dudes, they still had their hats and they still were cool, and the snake people still listened to cool music, and the hedonists ended up becoming the cool punk rock lizards. Like, there was still humanity in them, and that was what ended up, like, surviving all of space and time, was the spirit of humanity and that essence of humanity, which, like, it's kind of a nice little hopeful ending, but oh my gosh, man, just the concept of it horrified me, and then it fascinated me, and then it horrified me even more. And then, in order to cope with it all, I was gonna be so mad if I got that stupid garlic. In order to cope with it all, I just ended up showing it to some of my friends, and then going on YouTube, Tumblr, and Twitter, where there are growing communities of people who are interested in this book out of the blue. This book came out in 2006, and 15 years later, it is finally now just getting the recognition it deserves. And, like, people are just, they're memeing all over the place. They're making so many funny memes. It's so funny. The book, again, it's called All Tomorrows, and it's not that hard to find. But yeah, so that's the end of my little explanation of that. But man, I cannot stop thinking about it. I remember a couple years back when I first read the book The Giver. That was another book where I read it, and then I just had to sit and think about it for several days, just about how the world works. And this is one of those books, too. Oh my gosh. No. Oh my gosh! Okay. I'm gonna go back. No, you know what? We're not gonna... No, I should do the propeller hat. Dang it! No, we're gonna try and make it work without the propeller hat. It is possible without the propeller hat to get the secret ending. It is possible. I'm just gonna be incredibly diligent. If I don't get it on this, I'll just fast forward until I get it. So, sorry. But I had to tell you all about that stupid book because I cannot stop thinking about it. And now you probably can't stop thinking about it either. You're welcome. Okay, here we go. Ugh! Oh, I needed that. Okay, here we go. I can't get a ruddy run. So I'm gonna jump, I'm gonna miss, I'm gonna die. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna fast forward starting now. Yes! Yes! Okay. Here we go. Yes! Okay. Okay, now I jump on this. Boom! Secret ending! Yippity skippity boo. Oh my goodness, finally. That took way longer than it should have. Let me 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16, and since I'm already here, I'm going to fix my life count. because that was bugging me. Like, being down in the 80s on lives was not good. Anyway, so, yeah, that was the skateboard level, which I do not love as much as I remember. I used to love that level as a kid, not so much anymore. Anyway, so yeah, that's all tomorrow's secret level time. We're gonna do this secret level, and then we will do the boss. And we gotta get through this as fast as possible. I did not expect for that first level to take not a treasure. I don't want to do another real stupid treasure hunt. Please don't make me, please. Oh, is this the one where oh, man. Oh, well, this level, this video is gonna, yeah. What are we doing on time? Hold on, let me see here. You know what? Because I don't like having the longer episodes, we are going to call it right here. And then I will start the next level off immediately on this. So I will see y'all around. Adios, y'all. Bye.